Let's answer some audience questions. Aaron wrote in, hey guys, what are your views on hair transplants? And is it vain to spend so much money on your cosmetic appearance? Okay, I don't know what your views are generally on plastic and cosmetic surgery, Pat. My view is the following. If there's something that is really affecting you in a way where you are feeling a lack of self-confidence or it is making you uncomfortable in public, I don't have any problem with people getting the cosmetic procedure, whether it's surgery or something like hair transplants or whatever, if it's going to make you feel better about your appearance. Now, there's a gray area between getting a procedure that makes you feel better and more confident about your appearance, maybe something that for a long time has bothered you, versus when it starts to get into the sort of obsessive body dysmorphia, constant plastic surgery type of thing, like that, for example, Michael Jackson had with constant surgeries to his nose and so many other things. Where the line is, I don't know. You know, I know people who have had nose jobs, for example, and they grew up and they never liked their nose, and they get a nose job, and now they're happy with their nose, and they're not looking at getting other procedures done. And it seems like it's a sort of relatively well-adjusted and healthy thing. I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah, if people are happy with getting these sorts of procedures, I think there's no problem with that whatsoever. But I think for me personally, at least the line I would draw is if you're getting a procedure done to just get you to a baseline level, maybe to like regain the hair that you had before, or so that you look, similar to everyone else in a certain way.
Oh, I
I
see
would
what
be
you're
okay
saying.
with that. But if you start to look like an alien because you had so much work done, that would just be too much for me.
So what you're saying is you're much more positive about if people have experienced some change to their appearance, whether it's, for example, hair loss and then getting hair transplants to get back to the hair that they had at one point. Or I'm guessing, and
Yeah.
I'm sort of assuming here, if someone has, for example, breast cancer or for other reasons has damage done to breasts and then they're getting breast reconstruction in order to get back what they had, that you see that as different than someone who just says, here's 10 things I want to change because I want to change the way I look, and I'm going to go and get 10 surgeries or procedures, for example. You see those two differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's all about appearance, especially if it's a result of some sort of burn or a disease that they have these ailments or difference in appearance. I think that's totally fine.
I also think that depending on how much money is being spent, my opinion would be impacted, but not in terms of the absolute amount of money. If you have a lot of money, spending $50,000 on cosmetic surgery may not represent a big financial impact for you. For me, a consideration in whether it feels like this is starting to get a little bit unhealthy is the relative expenditure, right? If you're somebody that makes $20,000 a year and has a family and has kids, and you're going out and spending even $8,000 on breast implants, for example, or a number of other small procedures, regularly getting Botox and fillers, as well as, maybe getting hair transplants, whatever the case may be. If the relative amount of spending really seems to be an amount that is problematic for your budget and your income, that to me is also a red flag that it may be taking on an unhealthy direction.
Yes, and a good example of that is the picture that we have behind us, because reportedly Donald Trump has spent about $60,000 on hair procedures. And, if it was just anyone else, I wouldn't mind it so much, but he seems to be so insecure with his hair and his appearance. That's why he's doing these kind of things.
So is this why I'm guessing that Trump has denied that he has a toupee, and that
Yes.
appears to be true, but what you found is that it's not a toupee, but he has had hair transplantation.
Several, and he's even taken the anger out on his ex-wives when they call him out for the painful procedures that he's undergone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is fascinating. Okay, so anyway, I don't think it is vain in principle to spend money on cosmetic appearance, but I think that it is really important to consider ways in which it becomes problematic and maybe indicative of sort of emotional distress that should be dealt with directly rather than by getting procedure after procedure.